Where is my shot glass? Can't you see? I'm drinking shots. Where is my shot glass? Can't you see? I'm drinking shots. Where is my shot glass? Can't you see? I'm drinking shots.
How'd you smash your phone?
I don't know.
So where'd you get that?
I just wanted to know, how did last night end? I've got this thing in my head of like this guy. Yeah, because now you're calling it something that I never.
How are you doing?
I'm great as long as I'm around people. I did just gather the pieces, any of the pieces.
Hello and welcome to this What Do You Want to Watch Emmys special pilot review for the Outstanding Limited or Anthology Series nominee, I May Destroy You. I'm Ashley Hobley, joining me today, Dylan Blight.
Hello, happy to be here.
Alright, please be aware we were freely discussing anything and everything about the plot themes and ending of this episode, plus probably more. So if you haven't watched it, come back later. So let's jump to our discussion of I May Destroy You, Episode 1, Eyes, 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 created by Michaela Cole, aired 7th of June 2020 on HBO, directed by Sam Miller, written by Michaela Cole, starring Michaela Cole, Weruche, Opia, Paapa, Essiedu, Marouane, Zotti, Ameen, and Lara, Rossi. After visiting her aspirational long-distance boyfriend in Italy, writer Arabella returns to London, where she's greeted by a deluge of frantic messages from her literary agents. With a matter of hours left to finish a draft of her second book, she plans to pull an all-nighter, but is soon tempted to join a friend on a night out. Dylan, what did you know of I May Destroy You before this, and what did you think?
I heard it was good.
Wow. Does
that's
come back to the podcast?
No, I mean that's literally all I knew about it. I'd seen some Twitter buzz. People said it was good when it was airing. You know, just people being like, "Oh, this show's good" or whatever. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about anyone in it, and I didn't know what the show was even about. And then I clicked play, and here we are. And I ended up watching the entire thing, so I don't want to spoil the entire show. I'll just sort of try and keep it focused on the pilot because that's what we're doing here. But I did end up watching the entire thing, which every year we do the Emmy thing, I seem to always like whatever's my favorite of the shows, I end up like watching the entirety of like either the limited series or the first season or whatever. So that's my pick for this year. Obviously, this is my favorite of the ones that we watched because I spent all my time on it. I think this is really, really good. I think the writing is probably the strongest part. Obviously, all the performances are stellar and a big important factor to it, but it's just really unique because it doesn't, I don't know, obviously I don't spoil anything, but if you're like, what is the point of this show? The show's, I guess, exploring sex, I guess. Yeah. Like sex and what's okay and not okay, and also for all those people who are out there and struggle to understand all the dude bros who really seem to not understand how certain things are not okay or whatever else, and then some people who really struggle to understand the most basic no mean no type thing. This show explores all manner of, I guess, different sorts of sex scenarios, and like obviously there is a warning of like rape and all that, like sort of offshoots of that involved in the show because that's the route the show goes. But by the end of the show kind of deals with all manner of how people deal with that as well. By the time you get to there's even an episode, like maybe it's like episode 8 or something, I don't know, it's like towards the end where there's like a very big sort of a character begins like tricking themselves and just sort of getting addicted to social media to sort of sway the instead of dealing with what's actually happening in their life and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, it's really interesting show that deals with a lot of stuff that we don't particularly see dealt with a lot now. Like, as well as I guess other issues that we are seeing dealt with in other shows, just general unrepresented groups and whatever else. But yeah, I really liked it. I think it's great cast, fantastic writing, and deep thematic themes that are worth diving into.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. I'm like 3 episodes in. I think it's 12 episode series, right?
Yeah, they're only like 23-minute episodes.
Yeah, so it's not that much of an investment time wise. I think one of the most interestingly written, like the way the characters talk is like very nuanced and like obviously very like millennial and like how the youth talk now, but like
the youth,
you don't really see many people on television actually talk like that. You know, and yeah, like you said, exploring a lot of things that we don't necessarily see on television a lot. Obviously, a lot of drug use, and that kind of thing, and obviously hitting a lot of like very serious subject matter and that kind of thing. I think on binge, as soon as you load up the episode, it gives you a notice to contact
every
Lifeline,
episode. Yeah,
if you need to. So that's that's very good of them. But yeah, just this pilot. I mean, you kind of like dropped in the middle of the situation where Arabella's like leaving Italy, coming home for the first
it's
time.
It's really an abrupt start too, isn't it? You like press play, and you feel like you've missed like 10 minutes of the episode. Yeah,
and the boyfriend is like not really. Are they together? What's their relationship like? Yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff that's kind of slowly drip fed to you. I feel like over the first couple episodes.
Well, the first episode is literally like you get that whole opening sequence, her getting back and everything, and then you think everything, especially because I didn't know what the show was about. So I'm watching it, they're going out drinking. I'm not kind of expecting the worst, but then
after watching the Contact Lifeline?
I mean, it could have, like, I wasn't expecting the direct, just because she goes out, I wasn't expecting it to go down the road it goes. Like the content warning could have been for just a character being depressed or, suicidal over a number of things, not the direction it goes. But yeah, the episode, obviously spoilers for the pilot is kind of what we're doing, but I do like how it just sort of cuts away. And they do a really good job of selling how, Ariella, is that the character? Arabella, fuck, I was close. Arabella, spoilers, it's been a while since I watched it before recording this, by the way, behind the scenes, but that was pretty good. It does a really good job. Like, she does a really great job of selling and the way they sort of edit and cut it together, like how she just doesn't know what happened. Like, she wakes up and it's like, oh, I passed out, lol, what the hell happened last night, all that. And the way, like, it slowly unfolds from there throughout the rest of the day of her, like, sort of unraveling to realize that something's, like, happened, but she can't even remember. Yeah.
I think it's like the meeting in her literary office where she's written like half of her draft or whatever, and she doesn't know.
Doesn't remember. Yeah.
Doesn't remember writing any of it. And like, just it's very odd that she doesn't like. They explore the idea of her being very much removed from her situation, at least in the first couple of episodes, believing that it didn't actually happen to her. Like, it's just a subconscious thought that suddenly popped in her head. This dude, bathroom cubicle and that kind of stuff. So, someone who's watched the whole season, do you feel like it's comes to a satisfying conclusion?
Yes, I think some people may not like the final episode because this sounds really pretentious to say, but they may not get it. I don't think it's that hard to really understand what the last episode's trying to say, but I could see how some people may not, because the last episode does a really weird thing, like, well, maybe not. I don't know. It just doesn't go sort of cookie cutter. Here's an ending, blah. It kind of goes for a more sort of, I'm trying to obviously not give spoilers, but it does a thing where it's like trying to say something and you sort of have to read between the lines as to why characters choose to do certain things. And I think it makes sense why, if you're paying attention throughout the show, and why it doesn't sort of follow a Hollywood ending or whatever. But I thought it was really good. Everything else is worth in the show as well, because a couple of characters get introduced. There's some other things that start happening. I can't remember if you've got there or not yet, but One of the other characters, one of her best friends who's gay.
Yep.
I can't remember his name, but he has a lot of interesting arcs, and they deal with a lot of interesting things with him as well throughout the series that sort of back end what Arabella is going through. He has a lot of interesting scenarios that sort of play off hers that are a lot different, although quite similar. And even he does something that's actually wrong, which is, and I like the direction they take that. Like, he does something that's wrong. He shouldn't have done it. And the way they have him deal with that as a character, and the way they have him and his friends talk about it with one another and whatever else, is actually quite interesting for the show to explore later on as well. It's funny how there is like a through narrative, but the show does a lot of, throughout every episode, or maybe like between two episodes, it kind of explores micro topics within the bigger scope of, like, if the whole series is sort of about sex and different types of rape, which sounds weird to say, but the show is sort of talking about lots of different types of rape and what exactly is rape, because a lot of people don't. Yeah, the show's doing a whole sort of thing of, like, a lot of people seem to think rape is only if you, like, whatever you're imagining is what most people think rape is, but the show does a good job of exploring that, like, rape can be more than just you put your thing in someone else, like, and like how you get to that. But within that whole broad spectrum, the show does quite a good job at drawing all these sort of micro ideas and social studies, almost, I guess, like between characters and the way they're written or whatever. So yeah, it's really, really, really good.
Cool. All right, let us know what you thought of I May Destroy You, if we should watch the rest of the season, and you know what?
You should.
I
finished it, so.
Let me know whether I should finish watching it by going to explosion.com/Twitter, or jump to Discord at explosion.com/Discord. Help us out here at the Explosion Network. And what do you want to watch? By leaving us a review at Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser, or tell people about the show. And if you thought this episode was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosion.com/support and leave us $1. Or more, even. I don't know what your bank account balance is and what disposable income you have. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.